All right, we're back. Graveyard
Ew.
Shift movie podcast episode number 36. This week, we're doing The Wretched from 2020. And yeah, so another IFC Midnight classic that we're covering tonight. Uh
Need to shave, man. I'm looking rough.
oh yeah.
And I was like, yo, you look rough. And I'm like, I look damn near homeless. So, sorry.
Anyway,
Shouldn't have
but
interrupted,
yeah.
but caught a glimpse of myself. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, god damn. Extra scares.
Giving this movie a 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I give this movie a solid 7.
Oh yeah.
Like, super solid 7.
I
I
think
would
me and
tell
you
everyone to watch this movie.
I think me and you are gonna disagree on why you gave it a 7 and why I gave it a 5. And it's one part in this movie that really I was like, what? But anyway, so spoiler warning for for The Wretched. I will say this is better than the other IFC Midnight we watched with the fucking
How
Hunter x
dare
Hunter
you?
or whatever.
How
This
dare
movie is
you?
way better than that. So at least we elevated from there. But spoilers for The Wretched. Everything's getting ruined. So be warned.
Well,
Uh,
this is a movie that is very spoilable.
yeah, yeah.
Spoils easily.
Spoils easily. Yeah. The weird thing. So first off, weird thing about this movie, IFC Midnight. Okay, IFC channel. We've been over this on the show before. It was in theaters too. So I don't really know how that works. Had a budget of $66,000, and
Super
it
cheap,
made
right?
yeah, and it made a box office of $4.3 million.
And that's just theaters, not counting like
Yeah.
what they get from like streaming or
So
whatever.
like it made bank. I saw funny enough. Technically, it was the number one theatrical film in North America for 5 weeks in May, because it was one of the only movies available because coronavirus was at its peak right then and everything was getting shut down. So, but yeah, so I don't necessarily know how it all works with IFC Midnights, but this was in theaters and stuff. So shout out to that. But I didn't know it had. I will give it credit. I didn't know it had that low of a budget until I looked it up. Like the way it was shot and how it looked, I thought it had a much higher budget.
When I was looking it up to like watch it, it
Hmm.
showed the budget of what 66 grand, or is it 600
Yeah,
grand?
66.
And I saw that and I went, this
Yeah.
can't be good, And just like the locations and everything, I was like, this is amazing for 66 grand. Like,
Yeah.
how did they do this?
Yeah.
There's like 9 main characters, so they're all making like 2 grand each.
Yeah. It's yeah, which I didn't recognize anyone. And I thought I recognized the dude's dad. I thought um I thought he was the uncle from Weeds who like moves in and is helping out raise the kids the whole time, but it's not. It's just some like soap opera dude.
Look a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
They all look famous, but they're not.
Yeah. So,
I
shout
couldn't
out.
tell the two girls apart, even though one of them was Asian.
The one that was like the love interest and then the slutty girl that went
Yeah,
skinny dipping with
yeah,
him.
no.
I
Yeah.
had
I
the
couldn't.
same where he started going skinny dipping with her and I was like, is this the same girl? I was
Yeah,
like, I couldn't tell really. And then
I don't know.
obviously it's not.
I don't like the thing where they're like, we're gonna make this girl dark and emo. So what do? We're gonna give her tall socks and Doc Martens.
Yeah.
To show that she's different and edgy. And I'm like, come on, guys.
Yeah. It
So,
was. Yeah.
but anyway,
And that lady randomly they go like hiking in the woods and you get a cool scene where like this emo mom lady, maybe not emo, just like punkish looking,
I
Um
don't, what was she supposed to be? Because she was like, mommy's beer, like
yeah, it was
the worst parent I've ever seen. Like,
yeah. And they're like hiking and then you get a scene where like her kid huh? Her kid hears like come on, mommy's over here. And it's like a tree, and there's a hole in the tree, and you start to see like this claw-looking thing coming out. And then like the real mom comes, and she's like, let's get away, honey. Uh, which I say kid like that because there's twisty twists in this movie, and that was the reason. So they do the twist where this little kid next door. You then later find out the whole thing with the root mother. So the main evil woman or whatever is like the root mother. There was other names for her, but keep in mind she lives in the wilderness. Okay, and she looks kind of like she looks like we were talking about Game of Thrones before we started this. She looks like the children of the forest or whatever in a couple shots. But for some reason she kills flowers whenever she's around them. And I
She
was,
drains the life force out of it.
oh, is that what it is? Okay.
There's like a lot of like monsters that do that. To where
Yeah.
like the Night King,
Yeah.
ironically, does it. To where you know how wherever he walks, the snow takes over.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a cloud of pestilence or whatever.
Mm. But
Anyway,
yeah, and then it makes you like forget shit, and it's got a bunch of weird powers, whatever. So this little
it's a
kid,
witch. So
what's up?
it's a witch or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. So this little kid next door is like he's telling the main character next door about all this shit going down, and he gets taken at one point, and all this shit goes down, which we'll cover. But I'm trying to get to this part real fast. Uh, and then randomly the kid's leaving with like his dad, and then he like I don't even remember what spurs it on, but then he starts like having flashbacks, and this little kid next door apparently has been his little brother the whole time.
No,
That
no.
Oh yeah,
You're wrong. There's two kids.
oh yeah.
There's a little kid next door and his
They
little brother.
they look the exact fucking
Yeah,
same.
same haircut, same everything. Yeah, but what it is like the pictures are what makes him forget. So then when that fire breaks out, it burns all the pictures. So then he remembers Nathan because
Mm.
you have Nathan and then you have Dylan. And they're two.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, two different kids. If I hadn't watched this 20 minutes ago, I wouldn't remember.
I
Those
I swear to God, I was like, it's the same kid. I was
no,
like,
no. It's two different. Yeah.
okay. Well,
But they
still,
both
even
have
then,
bowl cuts. They both like.
yeah, they dressed in the same khaki shorts. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. All right, so I'll give them. It's different kids, but still, they do all these flashbacks to like show how the kid's there the whole time. And I was like, I don't buy any of this. I was like, nothing led up. The only thing I guess is they throw out that hint where the guy has his broken arm, and he talks about. There's also an underlying thing where apparently this kid's a drug addict, and so he broke in next door to go steal some Vicodin from his neighbors, and then they came home and he went to go jump out the window and he broke his arm. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, that's the weird thing. I don't really remember jumping out the window at all." So I guess maybe that's your first little hinty hint that somehow this kid's been affected already by.
Yeah, that's the weird part. I don't think that had any. I think he would. I think what you're supposed to take away from that was that he was high on drugs or something.
Hmm. Maybe.
But like, oh, sorry, I didn't know if you were done with your.
What was I?
'Cause I was going to go through all the signs that,
Yeah.
like I knew the beginning was weird because the old lady on the bus was like, "What an artwork" or whatever, and he looks and there
Yeah.
was like two things on his cast.
Yeah. Real fast, that lady. When it starts the flashbacks and it starts off with that lady being like, "You're a little artist," I was like, "Holy shit!" It's the old lady the whole time. I was like, "She's gonna be the main villain," but no, it wasn't that. Yeah, when it pans down, you see like his little brother drawn on the cast. But when the old lady's talking to him, she's dead looking at the kid who's the main character. So, you know. But anyway, continue.
But then I didn't. I was like, "This is weird," whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he sits down to eat the hot dogs, or whatever, and he
Yeah.
puts like the piece in the Connect Four, but like no one else is playing.
Uh huh.
I was like, "That's strange as shit."
Yeah.
And then they showed that he had a little brother, and I was like, "Oh, it all makes sense."
Yeah.
Holy shit! I do think that they they got soft at the end,
Oh yeah.
and he should have been able to save his brother just because it was just taken, whatever.
Uh huh.
But that Lily girl, she got like she was there for like 3 days, right? Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know. Because
Oh yeah, the like sister that got
yeah,
kidnapped of the
yeah,
love
he
interest. Yeah.
should have found her in half. You know,
That's another problem with this movie, or at least I didn't. Is they throw in so the dad who he's staying the summer with because he's a drug addict or something. So he's
degenerate. Yeah.
yeah, and so he's come out here to work this summer job and stay with his dad. Who I guess the dad and the mom aren't divorced. They're just like figuring things out. That's what they keep saying the whole time.
Who
But the
knows?
dad's over here dating some other lady. And then they throw in the twist where the whole time this lady, ooh, it's been a witch person, who knows when. Maybe
Yeah.
it was the whole time, maybe, it wasn't. Uh but so she's a witch and you're like, "Oh man." And then later it's like the kid and he has a brother and you're like, "Oh, and then at the end the he gets like the love interest like gives him a kiss and then gives him the flower and then he's driving away and he like smells it and it's a fake flower and then it shows her like on a boat with a bunch of kids because she like gives them boat lessons and she looks all so it's like oh she and I was watching it and it felt like the movie was kind of like you thought you knew what was coming but then this is happening. And it was a lot of twists that just seemed like they were like take this.
That was really solid though. The where like the last minute, it was just her staring at the camera
Yeah.
the whole time, and
Yeah.
I didn't even like piece it together that that had to be a fake flower for it
Uh-huh.
not to die.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until just now when I was like, oh,
Yeah.
so. But
Yeah,
like
so it's
it starts so many questions, right? Like
mm-hmm.
how
Yeah, how did she become whoever? I get maybe because then I was gonna say, well, maybe she's not because there's a thing where they have this big climactic like they go in this tree underground tunnel and they rescue the sister and the brother and everything, and then the ladies at like therapy or something. And the woman goes, yeah, your sister was talking about, you have to burn the tree or whatever. Do you know what that's about? And it shows like them looking at the tree or whatever, and then it pans back, and the lady's like, no, I don't know what she's talking about. So you're like, oh, she's just lying because she doesn't want to talk about. But then it's like, did she forget that happened? But then it's like, but is she a thing? So it's like,
so here comes my issue,
yeah,
right? Is it's like the normal witch tropes where it's like salt hurts them and stuff, right? And all this
yeah, yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So right at the very end of the movie, the monster grabs the dude by the leg, and
Mm-hmm.
homegirl literally grabs a handful of salts and pelts her in the face with it.
Yeah.
And then the dad crashes into the tree catches a fire, and they're like, everyone lives happily ever after.
Uh huh.
But how does this lady have the witch in her if she's been grabbing salt and everything else this whole time?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like when did the witch take her?
And there's a weird scene where it shows like the guy and like the witch like stabbed his stomach or whatever. And I was
Yeah.
like, ooh, maybe he got infected or whatever, put it in her or whatever. But it
Yeah.
was like, no, no, that has nothing to do with it. We're gonna make it the lady because
Yeah.
so
Was also like the neighbor next door who becomes the witch the whole time or whatever. She's like we don't ever talk about how like well now you're saying both them kids are dead. If cuz she had a baby that we
yeah,
never talk about again. And
baby's
then
baby's dead.
yeah, and then the son or whatever, I guess he's dead too. And then
So
the husband later on, you see him just hanging in the background. I don't think they ever show you a close up of him hanging. You just sort of see it.
well, it's weird because he's hanging and then there's a body on the ground that's like half a person,
Yeah,
and I'm like, who's the other person?
maybe that's the son, like ripped in half or something.
Well, no, because like the you see the son. So they're in the tree, and he releases his brother, and then he hears the noise, and he looks over, and it's the other little boy Dylan, and she's like, "All right, feasting on him."
Oh, is that what that was? Okay.
Yeah,
Well, now that I know it's two different boys, Because when I saw that at first, I was like, well, damn, they did the whole brother twist just to have her kill the brother or whatever. But okay, so it's two different. Okay,
So, like, you see him, he's done. That baby's done, and then some.
baby's done so.
And then, like, I don't. I guess like, that weird scene where she's walking off into the woods is her taking the baby to the tree.
Yeah, maybe.
So my guess is that there's more than one witch.
There would have to be, right?
So the witch in the tree is like the real witch, and the lady bringing her kids is like a worker or whatever.
Uh huh.
That's my guess.
Yeah.
Because you had that lady who was wearing the. Well, no. Because it does the whole thing where the hand comes out the neck and you see that it's it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the bigger twist. The very beginning of this movie opens up with like an 80s person, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
She's like wearing all this 80s clothes and she goes to babysit some dude's house or whatever.
Yeah.
And like she gets locked into this basement, whatever, with a beast, and it dies.
Uh-huh.
And it was like 5 days prior, right? Or 5 years earlier or something.
Yeah.
But then it's modern day.
Yeah.
So it's like, wait, what? So
Yeah, but yeah. But anyway, she comes over to babysit, and she hears like noises coming from down in the basement. And she goes down there and she finds a picture where the dad's face is like carved out. And then she looks over and the mom or whatever is eating like the kid that she's babysitting. And she's like, oh shit. And she goes to turn around and the dad's upstairs and like slams the doors shut. So that lady like gets killed or whatever.
yeah, you like hear it. You hear like thump, thump, thump,
Yeah.
and then like the wet noise or whatever.
I remember thinking like, well, I thought two things at first. Because you see the face carved out. So you assume that, oh, the dad's killed already or something like that. And then when he was at the top of the stairs, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be like the mom's crazy and the dad keeps bringing people over or whatever to." But that it was just like a, yeah, cold open like sort of thing. Which I don't know what the like. Was there a spell involved where the person or the witch, whenever had to take over someone, had to cross out their picture in a
I think that's how you make people forget.
maybe.
So I don't know. Like,
Ooh, what if the mom is the dude's mom? Because he finds that picture and she's not crossed out, but she's like folded behind it, you know. Which I think that's just the dad like upset or whatever. But I like to
Yeah.
believe she's a
it's I don't like I said. There's a lot of questions. That being said, great movie.
no, yeah.
I
I
know.
when the credits were rolling at the beginning, the sound effects were done by Eric Porn.
My favorite Eric.
Yeah.
So
So I just how would you like to live your life with that?
I'm sure he changed his name to that, right?
Maybe. I would hope. There's there's a scene that you texted me about that I enjoyed as well because they have a party and the guy's like flirting with this girl that he works with and shit. And then uh they get all drunk and this is when you get the story about him jumping out the window and she tells him that what was her name? It was Hannah Montana, but it was like Arizona
Dakota.
Starlight or something.
Dakota Star Crush.
Okay, yeah. And it starts playing this super cheesy like teens love music, whatever. And I was like, man, this fucking movie. And then they like start to go in for a kiss, and it was building up, and you know, like you've seen the movies where then as soon as they kiss, the music's like and started going off or whatever. And then he like gets right there, and he's just starts
up all over.
throwing up, and the music like cuts off, and so that was good. It gave me a
Good
little,
stuff. Yeah, I
me a
laughed.
chuckle. Yeah.
So,
They have they have the part where they have a saga with the kid when he first gets to town, walks into a store, and the owner is like, "Go on fishing, make your own change" or something like that. So the kid just starts to steal like a bunch of lollipops or whatever, and the dog sitting next to him is like, "Rawr, rawr," and like barks at him. So he like puts him back. Later on in the movie, he comes back and he's like, "All right, truce," and he like gives him a bone or some shit. And then the kid's getting drowned by this cop later on in the movie because he's been arrested because they think he's crazy and on drugs and shit. And he's getting drowned. Randomly, the dog pops up to save him. And it's like, well, how did this dog know he was in trouble?
Yeah, out of nowhere too, right?
Yeah, yeah. But and then the dog gets fucking blasted, and you're like, oh no. And then the cop kills himself, which there's that whole thing too, where then I guess the people know or they can fight back against the witch's powers, and
I think that's why the guy hung himself.
yeah, yeah.
So
But
I think it's like they can't. They're like, they're like fighting it, but they can't or whatever.
yeah.
So
But the dog gets blasted, and you're like, oh shit. And then later on in the movie, they had to end it on a good note where you see like the old man fishing, the dog's got like bandages wrapped around him or whatever, and you're like, oh puppy.
I was like, who's making change?
Yeah, I was like that. I get that was supposed to be one of them like old town. This is everyone's got like this way of respect or or something. But then it never. I was expecting more like town stuff to be happening with that. I thought they were building like this town that was all about neighborhood hospitality or something, and then the kid was some city, dweller or whatever. But
I have a question
okay,
that I didn't understand. They're like, you
yeah,
beat the hell out of some kid at the marina,
uh
and
huh.
I was like, that kid literally beat the shit out of him, and then he just
Yeah,
pushed him
I
off.
didn't see one punch that guy hit.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, he just got beat up.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, all right.
yeah.
A lot of
Which
strange stuff in this movie.
that once again that was all
Hmm.
so they could have then the mom or the lady that the dad smashed and to become the witch, and he like slashes her with a knife, and then she's like and they like arrest him, and they're like, we're putting you in a clinic, and then the cops like, don't worry, he's just high and stuff, and I was like, man, which
So I don't know much about drugs.
uh
I'm
huh.
a straight shooter.
Yeah,
Normal
me
guy.
too.
Uh, never heard of Vicodin making you go crazy and stab people
Yeah. Yeah, it's like what type
or
of
jump out of
drugs?
windows
Yeah.
for that matter. But it's like one of those things where like he was on the weed.
Yeah.
It's
It
like,
makes
man,
you
you
crazy.
take Vicodin, you just take a nap, right? You're on the couch.
Yeah.
So, but I mean,
Yeah.
I heard,
Yeah, that's what people told me.
yeah, I saw it in
Yeah.
a movie. So, but,
Oh man, there was a part in this that I felt to my core, which was the kid coming into his dad's house and being like, "Man, the TV doesn't have an HDMI port." And the dad being like, "Is it plugged in?" And I was like, "Oh, I know how that feels."
he was like, it doesn't have HDMI. He's like, what? He goes, HDMI port. He goes, is it plugged in? And he goes,
Yeah.
hmm.
Yeah, it just gives up.
Man, I felt
But
sorry for that dad. He was like, hey, look, I got you a bike. He goes, what the fuck is this?
yeah.
I have a license.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mom's
he's like,
buying me
"Mom's
a
giving
car.
me a car."
Yeah, yeah. And I was like,
And he was like, "Mom's giving you a car?" Oh. Yeah. Which yeah, it's the whole thing with the mom and dad is weird to me with them taking the and then like they're like going back home and he's like, "Oh, I'm just driving with you up there or whatever." But they're like joking around. They're like, "We'll think about things." And it's like you're just going back to your wife because the other lady you were fucking turned out to be some witch, like crazy lady. And it's like, are we not gonna tell your wife that you've been out here?
it was really
Uh,
weird when he's like, his son got taken away by the police or whatever. And he was like,
mm-hmm.
I gotta go. And she's like, can you open this bottle of wine? He was like, what? He's like, hey,
Yeah,
okay. He's like, I need to go. And she tries to make out with him. He's like, get away from me. He's like, what are
uh
you
huh.
doing? And I was like, this is just really awkward. Like, how did she think that would work?
Yeah. Um, there's that shot of the baby keeps like waking up and crying, and Tyler sent me a video the day before I watched this of a toddler allegedly getting pulled under its bed by something. Which I watched the video and it looks straight up like this kid crawls until about the very end where it does look like maybe something has its arms and like slides it because the kid's knees don't really look to move. But that's neither here nor there. But then this movie had a scene where the baby wakes up and on the baby monitor you suddenly see like the witch's eyes like open up and it's like next to the baby monitor and then when the mom comes in to check it she gets pulled under the fucking the crib and you get some loud crunches so you know that bitch is dead.
It it reminded me of that meme where it's like the guy and then it's like the black dude behind him. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, oof.
There's the part where the mom in the morning is then all creepy and like wet looking and she's walking around like naked and the kid like comes around the corner and the mom's standing there like naked and the kid's like, oh no, and I was like, oh man, that moment you catch your mom naked in the house and you're like, no. And she goes running off.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, like, so that's pretty much the whole story. I think we've been over everything. There's this weird thing with this, like, preppy kid whose dad owns a boat or
Yeah.
something. But,
That
like,
he's like kind of a bully, you know?
I mean, straight up is a bully, but
Yeah. There's the other weird thing where that girl that he goes skinny dipping with is like, she's also it, and anytime like the other guy's picking on him, she's like there laughing or whatever. But then when she's involved in it, she's always like acting sorry or something about it. And I'm like, you're just as guilty as all these other people. Like, I don't know. That whole skinny dipping thing was just in there to make. I don't. They didn't even really stay mad at each other that long. The love interest in him. I can't remember her name.
um, Lily?
Sure, we'll go with that. But yeah, so that was just there. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's not a bad movie. Tyler really liked it.
Yeah, well, I like movies with twists and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this one had all the twists you can want.
Yeah. It had all the twists.
It went to the point to where it gave you twists that it didn't support, right?
Uh
So,
huh. Yeah. But so anyway, it's a little short one, but I think that's
okay.
covers basically everything. Yeah.
I thought the main kid actor was okay. I thought the dad was all right. I thought the love interest was fucking horrible.
Oh yeah. I didn't think she was horrible, but I thought they wanted her character to be like the jokey, wisecracking, like girl or whatever. And it's like and it's like you see that character so much now because that's like the cool way to write somebody, and it's just like, huh. I felt the kid was all right. I thought that scene where he was in the back of the cop car, I thought he was actually doing a pretty good job, where he like where no one would believe him, and he was just daddy, and like he started calling the guy daddy and shit because like he was just lost. I thought that was pretty good, but I don't know. There's also the whole way this thing gets started, kinda, is because this woman hits a deer on the way home, and then randomly decides she's gonna skin it and like cook it up because she used to do it with her dad back in the day, and so the monster like crawls out of. Also, she hits like the shit sack or something.
Well, when
And,
you
like
when you gut a deer, or
That's a
animal,
body part, right? The
yeah,
shit sack.
yeah. When you skin something or you fill dressing, whatever, you want to go like as lightly. You just want to pierce the skin, and then you almost want to take
Uh-huh.
your knife in to where the sharp point
Yeah.
towards you, and you just
Yeah.
slice the skin or the belly, whatever.
Yeah.
This lady was just like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
she ripped open everything,
Yeah.
and I've never heard of
Hey.
someone eating a deer that they hit, but
Yeah. Hey, two IFC Midnight movies both had skin and deers. So shout out to that. But anyway.
I can't. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in this that needs commenting on. Like I said, I thought it was good. I don't know, the kid sleeping in the boat, I thought was really weird because it's my understanding that the place is nowhere near their house.
Yeah.
So how that kid got to the boat is
Yeah.
strange, So
I don't know. There's the only other thing which I don't think is ever really is the lady that I'm surprised that the dad didn't pick up on something that lives next that is the kid's dad because the mom that lives next door, like we talked about, is like this punk mom looking chick. Second she gets taken over, she's wearing like the girliest dresses and like dressing up, and no one was like, "Oh man, it's weird that she all of a sudden changed her entire personality." Like,
you know who she reminded me of?
who's that?
The crazy British lady from Dexter.
Oh yeah, she did remind. Yeah, you say that. Yeah.
And I kept thinking it was her, but I was like, no. What was that?
No.
I think that girl's name's Lily in that too, ironically.
I don't know.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that lady was still smoking hot. Can we talk about the guy being a peeping Tom?
Oh, straight up. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's on the balcony with the binoculars, and they're like,
Yeah.
they're getting ready to have sexy time, and he was like even closer.
Yeah.
It's for science, or
Yeah.
whatever.
And then when he's spying on him the second time, this is after he knows something's up with the mom already. But then the mom's like trying to bang the dad again. And he instantly goes from like investigating to once again being like, "Oh man, this show's getting good," And it's like, oh, you little pervert.
A little something.
Yeah,
So I was like, all right.
yeah.
So
Oh, anyway, I think that's about it.
yeah, I can't
For
think of
the-
anything else really to say
Yeah.
about it. It was a good flick, right? It wasn't super bad. So
No, Superbad has Jonah Hill,
Michael Cena.
Michael Cera, or whatever. Yeah.
So
All right. Well, next week, it's my pick.
oh, I forgot.
Yeah, yeah. And we're going back to 1972.
Jesus.
It's a long way for a classic that I've never seen before. Got a remake, 2009. I never saw that either. But Wes Craven. God, what, 12 years before? I think the first Nightmare came out in 84. So 12 years before he made Nightmare on Elm Street. But anyway, we're checking out The Last House on the Left. So, look forward to that. Should be a whammy.
A whammy?
A whammy, yeah.
You're supposed to use humdinger.
Oh yeah.
I keep trying to use that every day. So
Changing up the game.
right.
Yeah.
So.
So anyway.
What is
Next week.
What is it about? Anything? Any hints? You know anything about it?
Yeah. It's supposedly it's about like I always thought it was like a ghost movie, but apparently it's like a Deliverance type movie. So
No.
take what you will for that. So we'll see. It's a classic. It's one of those you're supposed to check out. So
Well,
anyway,
I will then.
yeah. Next week, Last House on the Left. Thanks for listening to The Wretched. Like, share, subscribe, all that good bullshit. Monday, we got
Good luck.
Texas Chainsaw 3, I think. I think that's the one coming out. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. All right, it's Texas Chainsaw 3. Look forward to that. That might not be right at all, but I think it is. Pretty confident. Oh, anything else you want to say to the people before we sign off?
Don't sleep on IFC Midnight. Like it's got a 50%
Yeah.
rating now, right? Like I
Yeah,
heard it
yeah,
was like
50 50.
bad. Like we still can't decide if that was a werewolf movie or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost want to rewatch it. Almost.
Yeah. Mm.
So, but and then this. I mean, they're not bad. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
They're
know.
better than sci-fi originals.
Where did you find this movie to watch?
Last House on the Left?
No, IFC the rent.
Oh, on Amazon?
Just you just typed it in Amazon for rent or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wonder if IFC Midnight has its own little streaming thing.
I don't know. They have their channel. You might be able to. I don't know. I don't know. So, anyway,
Amazon, it is $2, right?
it was $5, pricey one. Yeah.
I got a discount.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
So
Jeff
next week,
Bezos. Appreciate
yeah,
it.
Monday Texas Chainsaw 3, and then Friday Last House on the Left, and we'll see you for those.
Yeah, yeah.